They thought they could chase me for money a year after I sold my house. They thought I'd roll over, write a check, and disappear. But when the HOA's proud little president sent me a thick, final notice, demanding I pay dues on a property I didn't even own, she didn't realize she had just picked a fight with the wrong man. My name is Daniel Reeves, and this is how I taught a corrupt HOA that arrogance has consequences. I sold my house in August of 2024. Closing was clean, lawyer present, every document signed, every box checked. I walked away relieved, ready for a new chapter. By January 2025, I was settling into my new life, finally putting the past behind me. That was until one cold morning when I opened my mailbox and froze. Inside was a letter with bold black letters stamped across the top. Delinquent HOA dues. Final notice. They wanted $1,400 for the year 2025. For a house I hadn't lived in for 5 months. At first, I laughed. It had to be a clerical error. So I called the HOA office, expecting a quick resolution. And that's when I met her. Susan Whitfield, the HOA president. She carried herself like royalty. Expensive pearl necklace, Lexus parked outside, and a tone so smug it almost dripped from the phone line. When I explained the mistake, she chuckled and said, "Until our system says otherwise, mister." "Reeves, you are still liable." I explained calmly that I didn't own the property anymore. Her response was ice cold. "Then prove it." "Until you do, late fees apply." That wasn't an explanation. That was a threat. Over the next few weeks, the letters kept coming. Each one nastier than the last. Failure to comply may result in legal action. Court costs will be charged to you. Immediate payment required. Susan wasn't letting up. She was cornering me. But here's the thing. I don't panic. I prepare. I pulled out my files, the deed, the escrow release, the closing papers. Every document neatly signed, notarized, time-stamped. I wasn't going to shout, argue, or beg. I was going to use the truth like a blade. And Susan had no idea just how sharp that blade was. Then came the shocker. It wasn't a letter this time. It was a summons. Susan had actually filed a civil complaint against me, demanding unpaid dues. She was dragging me into court. That was her mistake. She thrived on intimidation. She thought I'd fold. But I wasn't just some guy with a stack of papers. I was a man who knew how to use them. I hired an attorney. We filed a counterclaim for harassment and damages. When Susan found out, she tried to taunt me. "Mr. Reeves, you're wasting your money. The HOA always wins." I didn't bother replying. I didn't need to. Because the moment we stepped into that courtroom, her winning streak was about to end. The day of the trial, Susan strutted in with her lawyer like she owned the place. Head high, pearls gleaming, heels clicking across the floor. She smirked at me like I was already beaten. But I walked in calm, documents in hand, my lawyer beside me. The judge called the case, and her attorney went first. He painted me as delinquent, irresponsible, refusing to meet my obligations. Susan sat there, lips curved in victory. Then it was my turn. I stood and laid the documents on the judge's desk. "Your Honor, this is the closing statement from August 14th, 2024, showing transfer of property. This is the county record verifying new ownership. And this is my escrow release confirming no further financial obligations." The courtroom went silent. The judge leaned forward, flipping through the pages. Then he turned to Susan's lawyer. "Counselor, your client has brought this man into court for dues on a home he didn't even own. Do you have any evidence to the contrary?" They had nothing, not a shred. Susan's smirk vanished. And when the gavel finally struck, it wasn't against me. It was against her. The judge dismissed their claim immediately. But he didn't stop there. He ruled in my favor on the counterclaim. The HOA was ordered to pay my legal fees, compensation for harassment, and a fine for filing a frivolous lawsuit. I'll never forget Susan's face, red with humiliation as the judge scolded her. The law is not a toy for intimidation. This court will not tolerate abusive process. The proud president of the HOA, who thought she was untouchable, was humbled in front of everyone. When I walked out of that courtroom, I wasn't just a man who sold a house in 2024. I was the man who beat an arrogant HOA president at her own game. And here's the truth I learned that day. Bullies fold when you shine light on the truth. Arrogance crumbles in the face of evidence. To anyone listening, don't let prideful people scare you into silence. Keep your records. Know your rights. And when the time comes, stand tall. Because Susan Whitfield thought she could bury me under paperwork. Instead, she buried herself. Have you ever dealt with an HOA nightmare?